All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Late Night Crypto Talk. Bitcoin Brandon from Los Angeles, California. Go ahead and type in the chat box where you're listening in from. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button on the YouTube channel. We're going to get started in just 1 second. As a disclaimer, I'm not a licensed financial advisor to be giving financial advice. I read the news, give my opinion, share a suggestion, and it is up to you to make an informed, intelligent decision on which direction you want to move into. Good evening, Bethany. From Seattle, Lorna Vasquez, Hanford, California. Stan Williams, Tampa, Florida. There's 4 rules I live by in the crypto space to have success. Rule number 1, education is key. Education is everything. Rule number 2, never invest money you cannot afford to lose. Rule number 3, always get a return on investment and back as fast as possible. And rule number 4, where do you see yourself in 3 months, 6 months, a year from now? What are you willing to do to make that happen? Make a decision, find a vehicle, take action, stay focused, and do not get distracted. Now, following these rules is not going to guarantee you success, but it will at least minimize your risk. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the most that we can ask for. All right, let's go ahead and get started here. Again, Facebook is still, I don't know if they're having technical issues because it's not just me. I saw Chris Hanks and some others that aren't able to connect their Facebook Live either. I even reset everything to see if that will work. It still is not connecting, so you got to do it through Zoom. So good evening, Pat Davis. All right, first and foremost, let's look at the charts. What is the chart telling us this morning or today? We got crypto market cap is at $265 billion. It is at 0% movement within the last 24 hours. Flatline. I don't remember the last time I've ever seen that. Really, it's 0%. Why do they have it as a negative, though? Red, 0%. So everything, I mean, all day it's just been flat. Nothing really to see here. Later, I'll pull up Poloniex, and I want to see if this is squeezing or not. I haven't looked at that chart in maybe 2 days. Let's go into what I've been trying to cover for the last week or so. First and foremost, we'll start where we left off this morning about the IRS. So if you missed this morning's crypto talk, I highly advise go back and listen to that. We talk about very important things that the IRS is now sending out letters. Over 10,000 to people who bought Bitcoin between 2013 and 2015. So don't think that, you know, if you were involved in crypto back then, you haven't reported your taxes, that you actually got away. You didn't get away. They will go back on you years. And really, it's Coinbase that's snitching on you. You want to use that. Coinbase is telling on you. They lost the lawsuit to the IRS, and they have to report any Bitcoin holdings that was over $20,000. And they know there's 10,000 individuals who have that. And they didn't report on taxes. So the IRS is coming to get their cut. Now, look at this. This morning I covered Secretary of Treasury Steve Mnuchin, who made a couple of statements that they're coming after Bitcoin. He doesn't think Bitcoin will be around in 5 years. Now we have, in this article, IRS agents propose draconian tactics to investigate Bitcoin users. Let's see. A recently published U.S. IRS slide describes alarming recommendations on how tax agents should deal with digital currency users who are not paying taxes. The slide recommends that agents question crypto users' friends. What? Yeah, I haven't read this article yet. Hold on. Are you kidding me? Agents question crypto users' friends and family, comb through social media posts, and issue subpoenas to make sure U.S. residents are paying taxes on their cryptos. See, there's another reason that if you're in this space and you're dealing with affiliate programs, this is not MLM or network marketing. You do not want to do the same type of tactics. You know, let everybody in the world know that you're making money in crypto. You know, showing off your houses and your cars and talking about how much money in crypto you're making. You don't want to do that. Not only are you putting a target on your back for criminals, you're letting the government know you're making a whole lot of money that you didn't report taxes on. And they're going through your social media to see if you're posting about it. So don't think like the MLM days. I got to show off my lifestyle so that I can promote my business, show off how much money I'm making. It's actually the opposite you want to do here. But they're going to talk to friends and family? If I get a phone call saying, hey, Brandon, can you tell us about Stan Williams, Pat Davis, Bethany Lorna, Jacqueline? Can you let me know how much Bitcoin they made? I don't know. I don't even know who they are. I don't know who you're talking about, sir. I don't know nothing. I'm not telling on anybody. IRS proposes extreme tactics for investigating crypto users. An IRS slideshow created by James Daniels, IRS CL Cybercrimes Program Manager, describes some concerning methods IRS agents should use to crack down on crypto using tax evaders. That's right, pretty. Stay private and low key. When I travel, I always shake my head at people that they've got their crypto shirts on and they've got their laptops with their Bitcoin stickers all over it. Are you crazy? Especially international. When you travel international, you know you can't travel with more than $10,000 cash. But if they ask you, or at the customs, do you have any Bitcoin on you? What are you going to say? You know what I say? No. Bitcoin's in the cloud. I don't have it on me. It's just like you asking me if I have money on my credit card. No. They will pull you aside. They can pull out your laptop. They can say, give us your wallet, give us your key. You don't want to go through that. Don't advertise what you're doing. When I went to England, and then from England, I was at England for the Blockchain Expo, and then I went from England to Sweden when we had an event. It was our very first event for KGX last year. And I had to go through customs twice. And they asked, what are you here for? Business. I said, business. What type of business? Consulting, financial consulting. I didn't say nothing about Bitcoin, crypto, blockchain, nothing. Be careful about that. So anyways, so the slide follows the IRS recently announcing tax guidelines on cryptocurrencies, which will contain rules about the tax treatment of digital assets and forks. Good evening, Tony. Even though the new tax guidelines haven't been issued to the public, IRS agents who enforce the tax laws have had no problems prosecuting Bitcoin users for tax evasion. There's a link here. Okay, I'm going to save that one for later. Agents Daniel's recently published slide gives a lot of detail on how agents should combat crypto tax evaders by using a variety of investigation methods. Within the 181-page document, there are thorough descriptions of what a cryptocurrency is and chronicled paragraphs on assets like Ripple and Bitcoin Cash. See, the IRS is educating their folks. What is my rule number one? Education is key. Education is everything. The IRS is catching up. The report discusses a myriad of digital currencies, including BTC, XMR, BCH, XLM, XRP, and LTC. Good evening, Gina. Daniel's descriptive study even calls certain hardware wallet users fanboys. Really? They're going that deep? Toward the end of the report, the slideshow explains how agents can track a Bitcoin address using a public block explorer. This is why I say criminals are not using Bitcoin the way the critics think they are. Everything is public. Once a Bitcoin address is identified, now that's the key. How can they identify your address, your Bitcoin wallet? One, if you give it to them. Two, if you're using Coinbase, and Coinbase has to report all earnings over $20,000 to the IRS. So they now have your name attached to your wallet, because all companies that want to operate in the U.S. have to go by KYC and AML, know your customer and anti-money laundering. They need to know who they're dealing with. So they've got your name and your wallet address attached. All they have to do now is connect the dots and look at all the addresses that have received money or sent money to your address. And they connect the dots. They even hired a company called Chainalysis to do this. Now, they're saying the technology still is not available to really break this down, but there soon will be what's called quantum computing. So it's only a matter of time before the IRS will be able to track stuff down. So don't think that you're going to be able to, 4 years I haven't reported nothing, I got away with it. No, you didn't. They will come back on you. And you might say, well, there was no law about it 4 years ago. It doesn't matter. They're going to go by the laws of today and backtrack you 4 years. If you guys remember, I don't want to go too much sidetrack on this, but 2017, Bank of America sent a letter out to everybody who had a business account with them. And they said, well, everyone that had a business account and you moved money from a crypto address to your Bank of America business account, they sent a letter saying we're freezing your account, or you've got 30 days to divulge all of your crypto holdings, where you get it from, how much you have. It was all these detailed questions. And if you don't, we will freeze your account. And they backtracked it 2 years. In some cases, they froze someone's account before even giving them that information. I don't know if you guys were in crypto in those times, but I did cover it back then. Okay, let me keep on. Let's see. Once a Bitcoin address is identified, it can be looked up on a Bitcoin blockchain explorer to find information such as value, transaction times, transaction locations, which may help in corroborating information, identifying additional addresses, or assist in locating the subject. The text expounds. It can also be used to show if Bitcoins were transferred after a seizure warrant was served. What? What do you mean? How can they seize your Bitcoin? That can only happen is if they can't. Think about this: if you ever, people that's avoiding child payments, and then they garnish your wages, garnish your check. If you have a tax return coming and they can intercept that in the mail, they can't do that with crypto. So I'm curious, how are they going to do this? Let's see. It says, additionally, the slides give a well-documented summary of Bitcoin mixers and how they are used to obfuscate trails of transactions on a public ledger. If an IRS agent determines a tax evading suspect, the slide recommends sending grand jury subpoenas to a variety of tech companies. The slideshow states, issuance of a grand jury subpoena should be considered for Apple, Google, and Microsoft for the subject's complete application download history. Is this even legal? I question that. There's going to be a lot in the next 4 or 5 years. You're going to hear some horror stories of people in crypto that have been moving around hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, and they never reported taxes, or they thought they were slick and only reported maybe 10% of it. What's more alarming is that Daniel's slide advocates agents investigate the financial habits of individuals who are using crypto to evade taxes. This includes, but is not limited to, conducting interviews with bank tellers, family, and friends of the subject if feasible, and establishments the subject frequents that they may accept Bitcoin. Investigating Facebook, Twitter, and other social media outlets. The IRS slide suggests searching the subject's financial accounts, including bank, credit card, and PayPal records. Automated clearinghouses and wire transfers should be identified to see if any one of them are related to Bitcoin. Daniel's slide suggests the getting information section in this slide, the only thing that I'm not concerned about at this stage is they don't have the manpower to back this up. But he's laying the groundwork, the framework for this to happen in the future. If Congress adds additional funding for this, they're coming. Let's see, it states, transfers to and from a subject's PayPal account should be analyzed in much the same way, verifying the parties involved with each transaction. Vendors who accept Bitcoin, such as Amazon payments, can also be considered for a subpoena. However, this method may not reliably yield results. Further into the slides, the agent explains that if the subject in question does maintain a Bitcoin balance, an attempt should be made to identify their Bitcoin wallet and associated addresses. Now, notify what they said there. An attempt should be made. This is my concern about our government. Will they pass a law making this mandatory that we have to at least identify all of our crypto wallets? That is going to be a Supreme Court issue. But he's saying here should make an attempt to identify. I'm telling you right now, I am not giving up all my Bitcoin wallets. That's just not going to happen. The IRS report emphasizes that a user could also have numerous crypto addresses. You think? A person can be identified if they posted a public address on social media, and the slide recommends searching through posts by the subject on his Facebook page or Twitter account. Again, do not advertise your crypto stuff on social media. Don't talk about, well, I made 30% today and post it all on social media. Don't show your back offices on anything that you might be involved in. If the suspected tax evader uses a Bitcoin wallet service, a subpoena for records could be issued to the wallet company to identify the subject's Bitcoin balance, addresses, and any identifying information. The IRS cybercrime agent also states that there are various blockchain surveillance companies, here we go, available that can help with an investigation. Firms that offer distributed ledger monitoring services mentioned in the IRS slides include, there you go, Chainalysis. Now here's two I never heard of, Elliptic and CipherTrace. I've never heard of those ones. So that's new. I'm going to keep an eye out for that. This software could accurately trace the history of Bitcoin payments and wallets. Moreover, it is able to map wallets into known clusters. That is, mapping addresses to known entities like Silk Road, Coinbase, and other large Bitcoin players. The presentation explains. This is another thing I shared, I think it was this morning, that Coinbase should only be used for beginners. If you are heavily involved with crypto and large amounts, stay far away from Coinbase. I even made the mistake. One of my accounts, and I can say this publicly because I already reported my taxes. I made it a point with one company to have all of my earnings. I don't buy Bitcoin. I haven't bought Bitcoin since 2016. I earn Bitcoin. But when I need to take it out, because I also live off of it, I use an Uphold account. And I made sure that all the money I was earning from this one group was coming into that one account. But I made the mistake of using that same account when I did one of my ICOs. And it was one where I made more money in one day than most people make a year on their job. And it hit that account. And then I got a letter from them stating that I crossed some threshold. And as a result, I had to go through more extensive KYC, and they were forced to have to report me to the IRS for tax purposes because they have to put it down in their records. So they were giving me a heads up on that. And I was like, So I couldn't avoid it if I wanted to. In fact, if I did not report my taxes, I would be in big trouble because they are reporting it on their end. And then they say, wait a minute, you're reporting it, but this individual didn't report it. So be very, very careful on this and do not have all your eggs in one basket. Have your crypto dispersed in many, many, many different places. Not because you're trying to avoid IRS, hint, hint, is because you're also trying to save and secure your holdings from hackers. So they don't get, if you do get hacked, they're not getting all of your stuff. Okay. Slideshow shows agents are studying cryptocurrency technology extensively. This means you should as well. This is why we're launching our economics company, education. The 181-page report is a daunting display of how IRS agents can invade a person's private life. That's 180. Can we get our hands on that report? 181 pages. Let me see if there's a link to it here, because that's something I definitely want to study. An IRS slideshow. Okay. I'll come back to that. James Daniels' slides also show that the IRS is well aware of Bitcoin mixers, the use of Tor, and other transaction obfuscation methods. The study gives a detailed analysis of bitmixer.io and explains that before the site closed down, it mixed 65,000 BTC per month since 2014. In addition to BitMixer's website on ClearNet, the operation also had an official Tor mirror as well on the deep web. The PowerPoint presentation details. The slides also give step-by-step instructions for crypto beginners and explain how agents can easily sign up for Coinbase and other popular exchanges, as well as a Bitcoin ATM walkthrough. You know what? This is what disturbs me. Why don't you offer this type of training and education on the crypto space to the public? Other countries are doing it, and they're doing it for free. Instead, our government is using it as a way to shake down the citizens. It's a shakedown. They're learning everything they can about crypto so that they can make sure you're paying your taxes on it. And it blows my mind, too. I see people in the crypto space that refuse to get educated. You don't know how many times a day I have people tell me, hey, Brandon, I got $20,000, $10,000, $50,000. Do you have any programs I could put my money in? Yeah, I say, yeah, education first. No, I don't have time to go through all that. I just want my money to work for me. Yeah, I understand that, but you need to go through education because you need to know and understand what's going on. That's the fastest way to lose all your money. I had an associate of mine in 2018 that lost over $100,000. He wouldn't listen to me. I warned him repeatedly of what to do and what not to do, and to get and invest in the education. I told him, get on my lives that I do. I'm teaching this stuff for free. This was before KGX. I ain't got time for all that. I got my money on me, and he was making a lot of money. But here's the thing, guys. Nothing is ever 100%. The only guarantee I ever give in the crypto space is that I can guarantee somewhere along the line, you're going to lose money. I don't know when, I don't know where, I don't know how much, but I can guarantee you that it will happen. Your education will help you to minimize what that loss is and make sure that your wins are far greater than your losses. I made far more money than I lost. I lost over 50 grand in this space. I made far more than that. And he hasn't been back in crypto since he lost that 100K. That was self-inflicted. Remember my rule number 3, always get your return on investment back as fast as possible. If you get into some of these money games and you know it's a money game, just because it's a money game or a scam doesn't mean you're not going to make any money. Education, if you do take those risks, allows you to know when to get in and when to get out. All right. 90% of the ICOs in 2017 were all duds or scams. Yet they all made money. All of them. All right. People will likely be shocked by the display of law enforcement going to great lengths to obtain cryptocurrency information on specific people. Very few crypto users are actively taking steps to protect their privacy 100% of the time. Perhaps this slideshow will urge more people to use mixing applications like Cash Shuffle, operate wallets using a VPN, and make sure they keep addresses off the ClearNet. The recent IRS announcement that virtual currency guidelines are on the way is all but meaningless when agents will investigate or prosecute you anyway if you don't follow the criteria. Pay taxes or wind up in a cage. I can't stress that enough. Pay your taxes. Pay your taxes. I got to save this article for later. In fact, I need to bookmark this. This is definitely one you want to keep. I want it in my crypto wallet. Okay, now I wanted to do a quick look at these other articles here. Local Bitcoins trader sentenced to 1 year in prison. Why? What did he do? A Southern California local Bitcoins trader has been sentenced to prison for a year for unlicensed money transmitting and money laundering. The trader, Bitcoin Maven, I remember that, reportedly exchanged between $6 million and $9.5 million for customers across the country, according to the notice by the U.S. Department of Justice. Here's another thing I used to do at the very beginning when I was I would help people when they wanted to buy Bitcoin, and for whatever reason, they just couldn't understand how to set up Coinbase. Look, can I just send you money and you send me Bitcoin? Yeah, sure, why not? I used to do that. No more. You know, we may be cool and all, but I do not advise, do not buy Bitcoin for somebody else or sell Bitcoin to somebody else. Tell them, I'm sorry, you got to go to the exchange and do it. It can come back to bite you later. It may not have an impact today, but it can get you later. Now, of course, you're not going to be doing $6 million and $9.5 million. The U.S. Department of Justice announced Monday that Teresa Lynn Tetley, also known as Bitcoin Maven, has been sentenced to 1 year in federal prison. Bitcoin Maven, who admitted to operating an unlicensed Bitcoin for cash exchange business and laundering Bitcoin that was represented to be proceeds of narcotics activity, was sentenced today to 12 months and 1 day in federal prison, 3 years of supervised release, and a fine of $20,000. Now, she actually kind of got off on this one, not too bad. She was ordered to forfeit 40 Bitcoins $292,000 in cash and 25 assorted gold bars that were the proceeds of her illegal activity. Okay, now that's steep. See, the IRS, the Drug Administration, and DEA, and the IRS were investigating this. Tetley offered Bitcoin exchange services without registering with the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, which is FinCEN, as a money services business. She also did not establish anti-money laundering mechanisms such as customer due diligence and reporting certain transactions required for these types of businesses. The Justice Department divulged, adding, Tetley advertised, that's another thing. Watch what you say on social media and your advertising stuff. You don't, I mean, like I said earlier, you're putting a target on your back. So she advertised on localbitcoins.com and exchanged in total between 6 to 9.5 million for customers across the country, charging rates higher than institutions that were registered with FinCEN. If you're involved, I got to do another, it's been a while since I've done this, a Facebook Live, and I think I did it just for our community, about red flag, how to spot red flags. You know, whenever you're presented with an opportunity, there are certain things that will stick out that should let you know right there, stop, take a step back, do some more investigating. You want to ask any agency operating in the United States, are you registered? Are you legal? That's number one. A lot of them will say yes, they'll show me. You know, for our company, for example, we've hired Thompson and Burton LLC. We also have an crypto compliance attorney and their company on staff. We make sure we cover all our bases so that when you go to sleep at night, you can wake up tomorrow knowing that the company's still there. A lot of companies skip that process because they're not trying to be here long term. They're like, if we could run a good year, year and a half, we can make millions and then be out. Shut things down when it gets too big. All right. So the other one attached to this, Internal Revenue Services. Wow, this is 181 pages. Cyber crimes. I am going to, in my own time, really, I'm going to skim through this. This is like reading the freaking Mueller report. But I'm going to do it. I'm not going to do it. You know what? What if I do this in a series? Give myself an idea. When, wow, he mentioned Nick Szabo, creator created BitGold. I might do a series on this, like twice or three times a week. I'll do a live, and we may read 3 or 4 pages of it, or 10 pages at a time. I might do that. Again, I just so you guys know, these crypto talks and stuff I do, I got to be honest, I don't do it for your benefit. I do it for my benefit because it forces me to read and be on top of things since I know I have an audience. I can be a little bit lazy. If I wasn't doing this live, I wouldn't read these. I have too many distractions going on at home. So by scheduling and forcing myself, this is like I'm going to class every day. Pretty says, that would be a good idea. We can all learn together. Because I'm learning. And when I do these things every day, I'm keeping my iron sharp, my knife sharp. All right. Yeah, I think I might do that. We'll all learn together on this. So I will save this. And I'm going to wait until we launch economics. And then I'll have it set maybe once or twice a week. We're going to cover the Internal Revenue Service, the IRS, cyber crimes. So we're going to get educated just like they are. So we know what they know. And it's a good way for you to protect yourself. 181 pages. All right. I'll look forward to that. Let me download it as well. And I will put the link to this so you guys can have it as well. I've been waiting. I was going to do this in the case, and when we were in pre-launch with KGX, there's a whole series that I was covering about the history of money that I was reading before KGX. And I was always waiting for us to launch, and I was going to have a weekly show about that. I learned a lot of stuff I didn't know, and I have a college degree. And I didn't know about how money was being used in the 1800s and the 1700s, and what was allowed and what wasn't, why certain laws were passed. You know, what we're living through right now with cryptocurrencies, this happened before. It just wasn't crypto. But we did have a society of multiple currencies at the same time in the United States. It wasn't until the 1860s when they passed laws to stop that. And most people don't even know it. So I'll add this series to that. The IRS history of money will be an ongoing part of our economics training for members only. Members only. All right, I'm looking at the time. So I'm going to piece this out. Tomorrow, I will cover this one. Money and democracy, why you never get to vote on the most important part of society. And it seems like we've been ever trying to get to this. But since we talked about the IRS this morning, I wanted to stay on that. So tomorrow, whether it's tomorrow morning or tomorrow evening, then we'll go through this article, Money and Democracy, why you never get to vote on the most important part of society. Understand the history of money. If you want to know where we're headed, you got to know where we've been and why things were put into place, and to see if history will repeat itself. So, all right, guys, I hope you learned something. As always, that is the point. I still want to make sure, I want to do these on Facebook Lives rather than YouTube. So if Facebook Live doesn't pop up, always know I will be doing it on YouTube, but I will put the link on my Facebook page so you can still get to it. So always check there. So I'll see you tomorrow morning, probably at, make sure I wake up on time, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, tomorrow morning, early morning crypto talk. Have a good evening, everybody. God bless. Bitcoin Brandon out. Bye-bye.